Ladies and gentlemen, we do have a polling update post DNC. Of course, it's going to take a few more days to get all the polls in, but we've got really good news surrounding Donald Trump and really what's happened to these polls. It's been a total flop for liberals, and now you've got even Jake Tapper coming out and saying, I've talked to people within Democrats and their internal people and all their polling experts, and they're saying we need to pump the brakes." Tapper's telling Democrats that Trump is winning Pennsylvania. They're freaking out. They're coping about it. So even Tapper has to come out and say, no, the polls are actually different than what they're being portrayed. And that's why the top Dem pollsters have given warning shots to just Democrats and the public and said, look, these polls are wrong. They're basically saying we're using this for manipulation because she won't talk. Please go vote. It's not correct. We're oversampling Dems. You need to go vote because if you get overconfident, we're already losing as it is. This is our only propaganda because she won't say anything. Now we have to try and pull out of the debate and then blame it on Trump because all of her policies she's done a 180 on because she was voted the most liberal, person in 2019. And even the AI said, based off of all these things, the AI said she's a communist. The AI said in between socialist and communist in 2019 that based on her beliefs. So she has to do the 180, but she can't talk about it. It's like, oh, what happened to banning fracking? Oh, don't want to talk about that. What happened to the border and everything there being the border czar? The border czar thing is just so ridiculous. Who cares if she was even the border czar or not? It's the ideology of the left. They want the illegals into the country. They need them in for voting purposes because so many people are going to the right now. Americans, we don't want the communism. So many just independents now. I mean, you look at RFK Jr., for example. He's a heavy liberal. Now he's on the right, or at least he's endorsing Trump because of just how bad it is. You've got Tulsi Gabbard. We knew that was going to happen, but still, it is a big move. And we have this major update in Pennsylvania. And this is just, I mean, this is all of the counties. I believe, yeah, look at it, alphabetical order, A to Y. Every single county, basically from November of 2020, which was the election. I mean, we got to look at this. This is huge stuff. November of 2020 until where we are today, Republicans gaining in basically every county outside of it looks like 4 total counties if you go back to November of 2020. And even within the past week, because you would think, well, it's been changing with the registration, but soon there's going to be much more liberals registering. It's not happening. Now, liberals still do have a sizable advantage in terms of voter registration in Pennsylvania, and voter registration is not an unbelievable metric in terms of deciding who's going to win or lose. But understand the context of this. They had an 800K voter registration advantage in 2020. They won the state, I think, by like under 100K votes. Now they've got that lead has been cut in half in terms of voter registration. So you've got their lead sitting at around, I think, 400K Republicans plus 333K in terms of voter registration versus the left since the election in 2020. And again, they very narrowly lost Pennsylvania in 2020. And this is a shift that's happening really nationwide. We're seeing way more voter registration, for Republicans, positive for Republicans in basically every state outside of California. I mean, I showed the data like 2 weeks ago when it came out, but even in the past week, you can see there are still more conservatives when you factor in by 2000. It's not very much because it's just been the past week, but we're not seeing that change to where, okay, there's going to be a lot of, Republicans registering 2 or 3 years ago. Now you'd think there'd be more Democrats. It's just not happening. It's still Republicans. So this seemingly is a state that is at least switching a little bit, going more to the right. And now with everything that's happened, them not picking Josh Shapiro, you've got Walz instead. I would expect Pennsylvania to go to Trump. Hopefully, of course, it is still a swing state. It's not a guarantee, but these numbers are certainly good and they continue to trend good for Donald Trump. So that's the first thing. Let's see this guy. This is where I have it right now. He's got Trump at 241, Harris at 213. He's got Nevada leaning to Trump and North Carolina as well. I would still have Nevada as a swing state. I agree with North Carolina being a lean Trump. This district in Pennsylvania, I don't know about that. Or excuse me, the district in Maine, I don't know about that. They really should just be winner take all. But yeah, I mean, this is realistic, honestly. This is pretty realistic when you look at it in terms of that. We've also got Jake Tapper. This is what I was talking about. Quote, Pennsylvania, Harris may be down by a couple points, according to the sources that he spoke to. And we've seen that in a few polls where she's losing Pennsylvania by like a point. It's within the margin of error, but these are internal numbers. These are supposed to be more accurate, in depth. And this is Tapper talking to top Democrats. She's doing better than Biden was. I mean, that's not saying much considering Biden was down by 4 or 5 points in Pennsylvania in basically every poll towards the end until he got replaced. Though in Pennsylvania, she has lost ground with white men. And to be honest, when you compare her to Biden, she should lose ground with white men in every state. In comparison of Kamala to Biden, there you would think there would be more. I mean, you think white men in general would be like 95% conservative, unless they've got white guilt, which that's another symptom. A lot of it's younger white men who are in college and they get intertwined and infected with the liberalism. But with this, you would expect white men to have a higher propensity to vote for Biden over someone like Harris, who's trying to use the whole woman and I'm this great leader and like how they're trotting walls out. And other people have said this is not just me that made this observation. He's kind of the stupid white dude who fumbles around and can't stand up straight. And then she remember the thing when she's like, I remember her saying when Walls was like, "Oh, I never had anything spicy." She starts laughing at him. And then she's like, just go suck on a cantaloupe. I mean, it's just, that's how bad it is. She like told him, go suck on a cantaloupe. You can't eat anything spicy. So see now white dudes are like, this is embarrassing for us. And she's going to lose ground with white men if she keeps doing stuff like that. We've got a new, look at this. This is a great comparison. September of 2020, August of 2024, almost the same. I mean, obviously it's not September of 2024, but it's close. Biden +8 to Trump +1. She's done. Well, that's a huge 9-point swing right there, and it almost is an apples to apples comparison. If you're talking about the same pollster, we'll see what this pollster says in September of 2024. There is big liberal cope going on. The only thing that they have is, oh, but what about the 2022 midterms? And again, they don't realize the 2022 midterm polls, in terms of a general sense, general election, generic ballot, they were accurate. I mean, they were accurate. Go look at Real Clear Politics. It was within 0.5 of how accurate it was. Now, on a per state basis, it was different and it was off. And the Republicans basically split up their popular vote share or generic vote the worst way possible, so they lost elections. But even comparing the midterms to a general election is pure cope. You need to compare general elections to each other. So it's fair to say we expect Trump to at least perform at least 2 or 3 points better nationwide, especially in some of the swing states like Wisconsin and in Pennsylvania and Michigan, than he did, or than he is right now in polling in those states. So if he's down by 2 in Michigan, I'd say he'd probably win Michigan by about 2 or 3 points, or maybe at least a point. Same thing with Pennsylvania, same thing with Wisconsin, especially. Remember, Trump was down by 7 in Wisconsin. That was all the aggregate going into election night. He ends up losing Wisconsin by 0.7. And that was even just ridiculous how, they, he Trump's winning the entire night, and then they find the votes. So even that is crazy. But you can see Trump getting the endorsement from Tulsi Gabbard. Huge. Tulsi Gabbard is going to be massive on the campaign trail with Trump. I would imagine she would be at several of his rallies speaking. I mean, you're going to have weeks where Trump, he's with Tulsi on Monday, he's with RFK Jr. on Tuesday, he's with, maybe Elon does a rally. I mean, that would be crazy. And he's with Vance. DeSantis is going to go. I mean, this is unbelievable. This is a dream team. It's just like you keep going to, and meanwhile, you've got Walz like doing a solo rally, and he like, I mean, how many people do you think Walz? I mean, they do rallies now like barns. Remember that one rally they had in a barn? I was like, this is a barn or something, and then they had the rally at like the elementary school cafeteria, and there's videos of it. I mean, that's what they're forced to do. Nobody really supports them. It's all fake hype. That's why Trump needs to jam this down their throat and have a massive rally at a football stadium or something like that and get like 100K, and they can't do that. And it would just go to show you the support for Trump is so overwhelming. The positivity, the capitalist United States with the #1 military, and this is how we are as Americans. We don't hate ourselves. We don't hate our founding fathers. We don't hate capitalism. We don't hate people like Elon Musk who are trying to free us from the government grip and the control. Because remember, it's very important people remember how things were without Musk. I'm not trying to suck Musk's dick. This is just how it was. Before Musk, I mean, their belief, this is the Democrats' belief. If you don't agree with us, we will just ban you and then say, oh, we're a private company, we can do it around. That was what they did. Remember when conservatives would get banned and then liberals would say, well, they're a private company. Yes, you didn't really do anything wrong, but you were a conservative, so we'll ban you. And, they used to ban scientists, world-renowned scientists, because they would say, well, maybe the vaccine's not the best, and they'd get banned just because we don't like what you're saying. So that stuff got nipped in the butt with Musk coming in. And that's why Musk is so important, and he's a huge influential figure. And yeah, Alex Jones is right here. The most important people, it's Trump, it's Musk, Tucker might be on that list, Alex Jones, Joe Rogan. I mean, these are huge individuals that have immense power. It's Trump and Musk, and it's unbelievable how much power they have. And then we've got this, Harris and Biden skip the Arlington Memorial Ceremony for the 13 troopers who died in Afghanistan on the third year anniversary. And I'm not even sure, wasn't there something that came out? They didn't even mention them. It's just, and then they tried to say, oh, Trump's using it for political gain. That's how ridiculous these people are. Like, oh, yeah, Trump's going to a ceremony for political gain. I mean, these people died with Biden's horrible withdrawal when you should have left the troops in. And that's what Trump says. Trump wanted to get out of Afghanistan. We all did. That's not the point we're arguing, because that's what liberals will say. They'll be like, well, at least Biden got out because Trump wanted to. Yes, Trump was planning to do it on his second term, but he was going to leave troops back so we didn't get all of our shit stolen, and it wasn't a total mess at the airport, which is what it ended up happening. I mean, you can see, obviously, remember the videos. That's when his approval rating started coming down. He had a good approval rating. They gave Biden a huge leash. Trump didn't get any leash because mainstream media hated Trump so much. He immediately started off with like a -7 approval rating. Biden had like a +5, +6. So Biden gets a bigger leash and still performs worse than Trump in terms of overall approval when you look at the end of it. Wow, this is even bigger. So they had it. This same pollster had it basically, you can see on the 18th of August, Biden +14 in a general, and now it's Trump +1 against Harris about 4 years later, around the same time, just 5 days later on the 23rd of August. So, wow, that's a 15-point difference. This is huge. And then this is something I wanted to discuss. So there are a lot of conservatives that do not like Trump's stance when it comes to abortion. They're saying that, I mean, Trump has said things like, I believe Vance said something about how there's no way there's going to be a ban or anything like that, and they would veto it. Actually, that's what Vance said if there was going to be. And the thing that these conservatives have to understand, Trump is trying to win the election, so he's going to say things like this to try and win the election. It's his people telling him, listen, when it comes to this issue, it's not good. Don't stick your hand in the honeypot. It will not end well. You need to be very neutral on this topic, or it will not go well. You need to win and get in first and foremost. So all these conservatives, I know that it's like they have a power trip to where it's like their vote matters so much. And I understand, listen, you're not happy with it. But obviously, if you compare the two, it's not even close when you look at what they think about abortion, Republicans versus Democrats. It's not even close. So I know a lot of people are mad. This is just what Trump has to do. If he goes and has their ironclad stance and tries to make abortion illegal or run on that, he will lose very likely 100 times out of 100. I mean, I don't know that guaranteed, but based off of how Trump is approaching this, and based off of some of the polls, the abortion is their one big thing that they have right now, and that's why Trump said, I'm going to be neutral on it. And they keep saying, I mean, I just saw Hakeem Jeffries tweeted out today he's gonna put a national ban on it, and it's just totally false. But they keep saying it. It's just like Project 2025. It's the boogeyman. They know that it's good for them when they say that, and it draws a reaction. So Trump is saying, and he said this for months now, maybe over a year, honestly. He said, no, it's up to the states. That's it. That's how I'm going to approach it. And during the debate, I'm sure that's what he's going to say. But obviously, when it comes to the Roe v. Wade thing, it's just not good for conservatives. It's just not a winning independent topic. So that Trump is just he's trying to win. I mean, that's just the reality of it. I know people are angry, but if you compare Republicans to Democrats and their stances of abortion, it should be a no-brainer to vote for Republicans, you would think. But either way, guys, that is going to do it for this video. Make sure you follow me on X. Link to that's always in the description.